Hi everyone, so now we are going to do the second video on the Android application exploitation series of Islamabad. This was the second round and this is the second APK, 2 much seconds there. So this is LiteMine. This was, I think, an easy to maybe intermediate challenge. I found this one easy, so I'm not sure about the severity of this since I don't have all the details of these challenges, alright, because I was in Lahore and not in the Islamabad one. So as always, we are going to jump to the main activity. You can actually see what is going to be called when the application opens, and we can see that it is the main activity, right? So we're not going to read line by line, but just what matters. So there's this first button, and then there's this second button, and then there's this third button. So it is on tick. I'm not sure what is this event. It might do something, or maybe on tick millis until unfinished. On tick maybe some ticking of time, I guess, and then it is going to write file invalid data, invalid.txt file, and then write this content to it. As we can see here, string data, and the file name is the second parameter. And then it is going to create test1.txt, and then it's going to write testing in it in the applications directory. So we don't have to do dynamic analysis unless necessary. So right now we are going to move with static only. So this is the on create, and so this is the first button, and we can see that this block here is happening whenever the first button is being clicked, right? So this is going to happen. This method on click is going to happen, and then it is going to check if the file invalid.txt exists, and if it does, it is just going to return after writing this into invalid1.txt. You are right way, but the lol says we are not. Okay, so how to bypass this? What you have to do is actually delete this file after the application loads, because we can see that it creates this whenever the application starts, right? So after the application is loaded and after this file is in the storage, just delete this file and this condition will get false and will eventually come here. And when we come here, we can see that it is passing this build config flavor variable, which is like completely empty, and then it is concatenating those empty strings, and then it is writing that into flag1.txt file. But if we take a look at write file here, we can see that as we know that in Java you can actually have methods with the same name but different parameters, and it treats them differently. So we can see that there is some part 13579 from our strings.xml file, which is being concatenated here as strings, and then in the end it is going to write that first, third, 5, 7, 9, those strings into the file flag1.txt, as we know, right? So it is going to open that and write that in there. So what we can do here is actually do dynamic analysis, wait for it to write to the file, or we can just copy the strings, and I think that is a easier way here. I have to start Genymotion and everything, and the fans make too much noise. They might be making it already, so yeah. So we know 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and they are actually kind of same, but I'm not going to copy the other ones because sometimes they are not. So I'm going to go to CyberHackathon, and we are going to decode this base64 encoded string, but I don't think so it's encoded. I think it is encrypted and then base64 encoded. So 3, we'll take a look at that. 5, 7, and then we have 9 here. Alright, there we go. So we got the complete string in here. Now coming back in here, we don't see any decryption method happening, but if you come down here in the second one, you can see that it is decrypting something. So ignoring all the code here, I'm just going to jump to the decrypt method, and we can see that it is AES encrypting the string, decrypting the string, and we also have encrypt method. And then it is let's just look at this, encrypt that, and then it is going to base64 encode it and just print it. So we already have the IV and secret key. I'm just going to call AES in here. This is our IV, right, and this is our secret key, and both are so first we have to base64 decode it, right, and then we have to AES decrypt it, right. If you do direct AES decrypt, it won't work, right, or you can, if it had the input base64 encoded, you could have done that, but it doesn't. Also the input which we are getting from base64 decoding is raw, right, it is not hex, keep that in mind. So this is our key and this is our IV, and these two are in UTF-8. These are not actual hex characters, right? So raw and this, and we know that the mode is CVC. So now we can see that there is another base64 encoded string, and from what we saw in the source, we know that it was encoding it again. So ETS CTF first 2021 ISP, I think, Islamabad 21 first will never stop to finding. Right, that's cool, I guess, and random. So now moving to the second method here, second button here, we can see that when the second button gets called, the method inside this gets called. So it is kind of same logic like this, and in this case it is also checking this file as well, right? So the same thing, right? Just remove this file after the application loads and click on the second button. So it is creating a new class database, and then it is perform opening that database and create insert, making a query. 5 may probably row, and with second, I think 5 is the ID, second is some variable or something, some value of something, and then it's going to database.decrypt this string again from the string.xml file, the second flag. So here we have it, right? So since everything is pretty much same, nothing has changed, right? We are calling the same decrypt method in it. So all we have to do is just paste the string here, and it is going to base64 decoded, AES decrypted, and base64 decode again, and there we go, we got the second flag. So we'll never stop to finding second. And then for the third flag, or the third button, we can see that we have this big block over here, right? And then it is going to check if, again, the same condition, we can do the same bypass, and then it is going to create a SQL query in the database which was being created, and then it's going to check if the count is equal to 5. But as we know that count is only going to be 1 because there is only one entry in here, right? It's not checking the index, it is checking the count. So if you're doing this dynamically, what you have to do is just open the database, connect to it, and create 4 garbage entries into the same table, right? Whatever values, whatever this, right? Just do that. And after the count is 5, this block here is going to execute, and if the count is not 5, the application is going to exit. So when you click on the third button and you see that the application exits, this is happening here. You can actually override this with Frida or RMS, but we are not doing that in here. So we can see that it is making a HTTP post request to some URL with this username and this user password, which are also in the strings file. So let's take a look at that. You have the URL here, api-enc.php, the username is this. I don't see it being decoded or decrypted anywhere, so I don't think so we have to do that here as well. So all we have to do is just pass this username, user pass to this URL in a post request with those fields, username and user password, and then we are going to get probably this third flag if nothing else is involved. So since this was a local service, I do not have access to it. So yeah, that's it. So this is pretty much it. This was the easy challenge, and in the next video we're going to take a look at the next one, right? All right, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.